Hello, my name is Charles, and I'm here to talk about the issue of poverty and the current social welfare and societal and social security that we have in place to not only help people retire, but to hopefully work as a safety net for those in poverty. I want to preface this speech by understanding and having the audience understand that poverty is a multifaceted issue. Economists for years have analyzed and researched ways to further understand poverty and hopefully find the root cause of poverty in order to solve the issue. But at the moment, poverty is most well understood as a lack of necessary resources, funding, and or food that creates an impoverished nation, society, and or individual. But currently, it tends to stand out that the current social programs that we have in the United States simply do not suit the correct needs of those in poverty. And or they don't, or how they're structured simply do not help people get out of poverty and flourish. Because of this, poverty has multiple issues stemming beyond just the immediate lack of funds and or resources. Poverty can be detrimental to youth, permanently stunting their growth as well as their development and education that puts them at a permanent disadvantage to those who are more educated, to those who come from a wealthier background as well. Children in poverty are less likely to go on to college, to succeed or fulfill in their careers, or go beyond and get a greater education. This creates a poverty trap, which continues a vicious cycle of poverty throughout the United States. To address this, I want to propose a different type of solution. Instead of Social Security and federal welfare, I would like to propose a universal basic income. A universal basic income is a grant and or dividend that is paid out to multiple people is paid out to universally to all citizens in a country, state, or nation. It provides a fixed amount of income for everybody so that everybody can live either comfortably or save reliably. To prove with my first point why a universal basic income would be preferable to Social Security, it's evident by our own system currently provided by a source by Investopedia. Social Security is actually posed to reduce its benefits by 2035 by almost 30%. This is caused by the outside retirees from the baby boomer generation leaving the workforce. The smaller number of people working is offsized by those retiring, meaning that tax cuts, the tax that is taken from workers' paychecks is simply not enough to pay out to the retirees. On top of that, Social Security is generally not a fair tax. It is what we like to consider a regressive tax. A regressive tax is a tax that punishes those in poverty and supports those in power. It's a regressive tax because it's a flat tax. For example, $150 taken from somebody who makes about $12,000 a year is a much larger sum than $150 taken from someone who makes $1 million. This rewards the wealthy by providing them a safe and secure retirement and punishes the poor by making them unable to save as much and taking more from their income that they need to spend and flourish. All this is provided by a source called Investopedia. A universal basic income fixes this issue. The universal basic income provides a flat, can be adjusted to be progressive, not taking as much from the poor, but still paying them the right amount. Everybody is paid a fixed amount regardless of their background, which could possibly allow elderly to live comfortably in their golden years. as well as allow certain people to also save reliably for their retirement if, say, the dividend was smaller than, say, $12,000. This is a much better option, and it is not offset by those working versus not working. This allows everybody to live comfortably on just smaller means, as opposed to having to go back into the workplace in their golden years and or have to take a reduction in their social welfare benefits after working so many years. Moving on to my second point about referencing poverty traps, as I referenced in my preface, the current welfare program simply does not do enough or incentivizes or keeps people in poverty. A study done by the Institute for Research on Poverty noted that daughters who were brought up in households where welfare was received were then, as they moved on into their adulthood, also applied for welfare. This is what's known as a poverty trap. When raised under welfare, you are more than likely to also then be depending on welfare, which creates generational poverty traps. Moving on, another organization by the Heritage Foundation noted that when they sent out aid, the 4.7 million families that they helped had depended on welfare for over 6 years. Welfare incentivizes people to stay in it, and they become trapped in it and dependent on it. However, in the case of the UBI, multiple tests have shown, just like the one in Nambia, provided by the Center of Public Impact, cut poverty rate by more than 75% in their country. The university in Alaska that provided $1,000 in a study to every citizen in Alaska noted that it kept 25,000 to 50,000 residents in the state out of poverty, provided by the alaska.government website. And in a finished trial in a similar income grant, hours did not decrease overall. And to finally note that a UBI only provides so much that somebody is able to subsist on little means. This means it does not discourage career growth and an ability to have greater means and have greater wealth. And on to my final point, that we spend trillions of dollars on federal benefits that are often too hard for people to access. Many federal benefits, just like the funding for needy families, often has strict requirements for what is allowed to enroll or qualify for them. But a universal basic income solves this issue by simply being universal. Every citizen is paid, and every citizen is paid only if they are, of course, a citizen. In conclusion, a UBI doesn't quite tackle all of the problems of poverty, like I've mentioned in my preface, but a UBI can better help us push us in the direction to solving the issues of poverty than our current welfare programs. The work cited for this speech is Investopedia, Social Security, Why Social Security is running out of money, the Institutes for Research on Poverty, the Center for Public Impact, Alaska.gov, Kela.fl, and the Heritage.org. Thank you so much.